chapter 17. This is the last chapter of this Madhya Kanda. Lord Vishnubar is wandering throughout Navadvip and descriptions of the devotees' glories. Of course, this is the activities of Lord Chaitanya. This part of this is of course his Lila 500 years ago, but this is also his Nitya Lila. He's always visiting the homes of his devotees in the morning time. And it's being told here also in this chapter 17. Text 1, chapter 17. Jaya Jaya Mahaprabhu Sri Gora Sundar Jaya Nityananda Sarva Sevya Kalevara. All glories to Mahaprabhu Sri Gora Sundar, all glories to Nityananda, whose body is the object of everyone's worship. Nityananda Sarva Sevya Kalevara. Sevya means the worship. Everyone's worship ends there with worshipping Nityananda, or his expansions, Guru Tattva. Madhya Kanda Katha Jena Amritera Kanda Jay Katha Shrunile Guche Antara Pashanda. The topics of Madhya Kanda are like drops of nectar. By hearing these topics, one's atheistic mentality is vanquished. Hina Matte Navadvipe Prabhu Vishwambar Gudda Rupe Sankirtana Kari Nirantara. Vishwambar kept his identity concealed while constantly performing Sankirtan in Navadvip. So his form, Guda Rupe. Jakana Karaye Prabhu Nagara Brahmana Sarvaloka Deki Jena Sakshad Madana. When Lord Vishwambar wandered throughout the city of Nadia, everyone who saw him thought he was Cupid himself. Sarvaloka Deki Sakshat Madan. That'd be nice to see that Cupid instead of the other Cupid. In our Asian times, Cupid takes different forms, and none of those forms are Lord Chaitanya. They don't even slightly remind us of Lord Chaitanya. But they thought that they were moving they thought that Sakshat Madan was moving amongst them. In ordinary this next one. Vyavahari Deki Prabhu Jena Dhamma Maya Vidyabala Deki Pashandi Opaya Bhaya. In ordinary dealings, the Lord appeared to be full of pride. Even atheists were frightened by seeing the strength of his knowledge. Well, this is a very nice definition here of pride, and Saraswati Thakur's purport. Check this definition out. Domination, this is the meaning. What is pride? Because the word there is Damba Maya. Atheists were frightened by seeing the strength of his knowledge. In ordinary dealings, Vishwambar appeared to be full of pride. Vyavahar. Vyavahar means ordinary conduct. Daily conduct is called Vyavahar. Deki Prabhu. When anyone saw Mahaprabhu, they thought Damba Maya, that he was totally saturated with pride. The arrogant scholar, the boy genius, the arrogant scholar, the puffed up Brahmin of Navadvip, the indefeatable Brahmin. Damba Maya means he was the embodiment of Maya, made of or saturated with, or the embodiment of Damba, which means pride. So the definition of pride: domination over others, to nourish one's false ego by persons who are expert in material considerations is called pride. So someone may be very expert in material affairs, and in order to nourish his false ego, then he tries to dominate other people, control other people, subjugate other people. I thought that was nice. Egoistic, proud persons who try to establish their own prominence over Vaishnavas by taking advantage of their natural humility in worldly dealings become intoxicated by self-praise. Manifesting his own ingenuity over such so-called learned persons who were filled with false ego, Sri Gaurasundar instilled fear in the atheists who were envious of Vishnu. Thus they realized the insignificance of their own knowledge and were defeated by the strength of Mahaprabhu's knowledge. Therefore, the mundane scholars, of course, who were full of pride, realized their own weakness and accepted Mahaprabhu as the conqueror of the proud. So all the scholars and the Nayas, the logicians and great kavis and grammar experts in grammar that were moving around Navadvip, they were often directly challenged, face on face, by Nimai Pandit, and he soundly defeated them. He was so much defeating them left, right, and center that most of them were afraid to face him because they didn't want to lose their face or their position, so they would run over to the other side of the street or go away or try to avoid eye contact. When they walked by Lord Nimai Pandit, they would try to avoid any kind of eye contact out of fear that he might say, "Hey, let me ask you one point about Naya. Let me ask, can you clarify this? I have this one question about Naya, about logic. Can you answer this?" And the person says, "Oh my God, it's too late now. I'm trapped. I'm caught by Nimai Pandit. So now I have to pull myself out of this, defend myself." So they would say something. Say, "No, this point is wrong." They would start a debate, and everyone gets around like always in India. As soon as something happens, 500 people gather around. So here they are, the two pundits, surrounded by 500 spectators. And many of them supporting Nimai, many supporting the opposition. And invariably, without fail, Nimai Pandit, he was the Digvijay, Achyuta, the infallible Achyuta, Ajita. He would conquer them. So then when they got conquered, it means their pride also got defeated. They got defeated by the strength of Mahaprabhu's knowledge. He was indefeatable. Indefeatable Mahaprabhu. Yakaran shastre sabe vidyara adhan bhattacharya pratiyo nahi katra trina gyan. The Lord considered the bhattacharyas, who were supposed to be learned in grammar, as no better than a blade of grass. Bhattacharyas is a surname or last name for very learned Brahmins, like Gopal Bhattacharya. He was Gopal Bhattacharya. And his father Venkata Bhatta was Venkata Bhattacharya, who was shortened to Bhatta. Grammar is the source of perfection for all kinds of knowledge. Mahaprabhu did not show much respect to those who established themselves as teachers for imparting knowledge. Rather, he disregarded them by manifesting his ingenuity. Nagara Brahmana Kare Prabhu Nija Range Gura Rupe Takaye Sevak Sab Sange. In his own ecstasy, Lord Vishwambar kept his identity covered as he wandered throughout the city in the association with devotees. It must have been amazing, Leela. That's something, I guess, like Clark Kent, the newspaper reporter. He kept his identity secret. He was just a newspaper reporter for the Daily Mirror. And he would report every day to his desk and take the news and type it and go out for the big news stories. And he saw some distress. And his news mate was Lois Lane. Lois Lane was his sidekick, his Shaktiman. So then she would give him a tip. She would give him some hot leads about some distressed person. So he would say, "All right, I'll write a story on it." So then he would go to that site of that mishap or calamity or difficulty or trouble. Then he would duck into a phone booth and change it, become Superman. Dun, da, 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 da. And then go and sit. And no one knew who it was. He wore glasses and he was in disguise as Clark Kent, the newspaper reporter. So now he's dashing and debonair and handsome, and no glasses, of course, because heroes can't have four eyes. No such thing as a four-eyed hero. So he would go there with his dashing cape and red boots and blue leotards. Red boots and blue leotards. And a big S on his chest. Of course, he had a good dose of Ankar also. He had a uniform. Otherwise, no one knew that he was Superman. So our Superman is Bhagavan Sri Krishna. He's super. He's a super supreme personality of Godhead. Super personality of Godhead, right? Super. So, but Vishnuvari kept, it's amazing when you think about it, Vishnuvari kept his identity, for the most part, completely hidden. Imagine being God. You're actually God, you're Radha and Krishna combined, and you know it. You're all the most beautiful creation, person in the whole creation, the most learned, intelligent person in the whole universe, and the most powerful, strong, wealthy, detached person in the whole universe. You're God. Sadaishwarya Purna. And you just walk around, I'm the son of Jagannath Mishram, Nimai Pandit. I have a little Sanskrit. Where's your calling card? Yeah, I have a little Sanskrit school over on the bank of the Ganga, underneath the Kadamba tree. Do you have any? What's the post office number? No, it's that big Kadamba tree down near Jagai Madai Ghat, Mahaprabhu Ghat. I have a tree over there. We sit under the tree and I teach Sanskrit, Vyakaran, Kavi, Naya, Tarka, Jyotish, Ayurveda. Like mostly taught this Naya, logic, and Vyakaran. But then he would just tackle these bogus pundits and scholars and rip them to shreds. It says, in his own ecstasy, Nagara Brahmanakari Prabhu Nija Range Guru Rupe Takaye Sevak Savas. In his own ecstasy, he kept his Nija Range. Nija Range actually means his own play, his own mood of play. Nija Range. It says his own ecstasy. In a playful mood, in his own mood of playing, he's like goofing on, we say in American slang, we say he was goofing on everybody. He was goofing on everybody. He was pulling the wool over everyone's eyes. He was masquerading as, disguising himself. He was enjoying it. Like someone might dress up in a monkey suit and go around and go, ha ha ha. And no one says, who is this, who is it? And the person knows who he is. He's a famous person in that town, but he's playing all the kids, and they all think, who is this monkey? Ha ha ha! In a monkey suit. And he's relishing, he's enjoying being this monkey. And no one knows who, he knows every kid he's playing with, he knows who he's interacting with, but no one knows him. He's disguised as a monkey. No one can see him. So no one could see that Lord Chaitanya, that God was walking amongst them. This was his own play, Nijarange, Prabhu Nijarange. Prabhu Nijarange, his own play, his own sport. His sport. Range means sport, fun. Nagara Brahmana. Brahmana means he's wandering all around the Nagar as he wandered throughout the city. Sevak Savasange, in the association of his devotees, but he kept his true form, Guru Rupe Take. His own identity was covered. So we'll hear more about the wanderings of Nimai Pandit and how he is received by different personalities. Tomorrow we'll hear about what happened when Mahaprabhu met the atheists. So by the mercy of Mahaprabhu, we'll hear about that tomorrow. Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat Ki Jai.